Donald Trump admitted he wants to be a dictator. And then after he admits he will in fact be a dictator, he says everyone took his statement out of context, and he provided additional context by admitting he actually did say he wants to be a dictator. I kid you not. Let's put him up full mass. According to Politico, in New York, the chairman of an Austrian political party founded by ex-Nazis, the conservative Twitter star behind the anti-trans Bud Light backlash, and former President Donald Trump all walked into a bar. This is not the setup of a joke. This actually happened. This was on Saturday night in Manhattan. Amid butler-delivered service, you had ball gowns and a 5-course French service meal. Characters from all corners of the Republican Party's MAGA faction gathered for a night of dinner, drinking, and love of country, end quote. Trump, the New York Young Republican Club's 111th annual gala keynote speaker, delivered. Quote, "We want to liberate America because we're in a country that's in a lot of pain right now, a lot of hurt," Trump told the crowd during his 80-minute long speech. Another quote, "This campaign is on a righteous crusade to rescue our nation from a very corrupt political class." On the heels of a reaffirmed gag order, a debate largely differential, Republican opponents and near slam dunk poll numbers for the Iowa caucuses just weeks away, Trump made his pledge for a return to the White House. The former president also addressed his comments earlier this week, where he said he would not be a dictator except for day one, end quote, if he returns to office in 2025. Peter Baker today in the New York Times said that "I want to be a dictator," Trump said, referencing an article from the newspaper's chief White House correspondent. Trump, quote, "I didn't say that. I said I want to be a dictator for one day. You know why I wanted to be a dictator? Because I want a wall. I want to drill, drill, drill." Trump said, adding that Democrats' newest hoax is to label him a threat to democracy. The former president was preaching to his base on Saturday as a mix of firebrand conservative media icons, solo far-right lawmakers, and wealthy MAGA-loving donors chanted his name and cheered pro-Trump speeches from carefully plated banquet tables. It's called buying access. So is this not ironic? Donald Trump literally says, "I want to be a dictator, but I want to be a dictator for one day. And then after I'm a dictator, whatever." Somebody decides to requote his quote. He then says it's taken out of context. He doesn't actually want to be a dictator. Once again, he only wants to be a dictator for one day. What is Trump doing? The blueprint is evident. Donald Trump utilizes what we call binary marketing schemes. He preaches for a verdict. So he will offer the blueprint. He will provide context for the blueprint. And if people accept the first rough draft of the political blueprint, he then gives you the updated version, the edited one. And then he gives you a polished one, okay? But this is him testing the idea. He has proclaimed what he will do if he gets power again. He will be adverse to the US Constitution. He will oppose rule of law. He will go against the United States Supreme Court. And he can do this, according to one of his officials from the campaign, because it's going to take the Supreme Court a while to get around to even reviewing what Donald Trump has done to the nation. Now, you don't really have to listen to his propaganda. You can simply look at his track record. what he attempted to do while being president for 4 years. If you give this man power again, you can kiss your precious democracy goodbye. And let me say this about Democrats. Democrats have some blame here too. Every election you all told working class people all across this nation, this is the most important election. This is the most important election. Vote for us. Vote for me. I set you free. They voted for you. They gave you the power. You get the power and then you argue with us about how you don't have the power to do the things you said you would do. And now people are either A, done with you because of frustration, lack of delivery, or B, they feel as if you're too weak to actually stop the Trump train. All right, Rickey, it's a hell of a thing. The man has admitted he does in fact want to be a dictator. The only context is he's saying for only 1 day, but the damage a dictator can do in 1 day can be irrevocable. What say you?
No, Dr. Richey, this is this story right here. It won't just be for 1 day. It'll be every day of his presidency.
Right.
You see him getting close to people like the president of North Korea and Putin, and it's obvious that Joe Biden is are close to. And then what it's going to do for NATO as well. We have to really get out and vote because democracy is at stake. Plus, you might have Clarence Thomas maybe resigning soon, and we need that seat on the United States Supreme Court. But we cannot afford to have another 4 years of Donald Trump because when Hillary Clinton ran, nobody took the election serious. Everybody just assumed that she was going to win. And now you got a man that's hungry for power, and he will be way more dangerous than he was in the past. He's mad at everybody. He's going to take it out on everybody. People are probably going to go to jail. He's going to go and try to prosecute all of his political enemies. And, fascism and racism and everything. We're going to start seeing a whole lot of stuff. So we really have to get out here and vote. And Donald Trump is dangerous and not good for democracy. So it's something to be worried about. He is up in the polls, and the more he talk about dictatorship and everything else that goes bad, even with his court cases, how does that make your numbers go up in the polls? That's crazy.
It definitely is, counterintuitive, right?
And it says a lot about our country and the mindset of the people in the country as well.
That's the part, because you got to have a consumer class in politics for this to work. So there are people consuming the brand of Donald Trump. And I don't think that level of support goes away for him. I think it only gets enhanced because a lot of the people, if not most of them, they support Donald Trump because they are antithetical to the concept of democracy. Democracy started to make gains. Democracy started to create some places of equitable outcomes, and they didn't want that. So now the formation of government must change for them. So we're not going to win an argument with them talking about democracy. They don't want democracy. They've made it clear. All right, we'll give you updates as they come.